Squad. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. Last four in, first four out, bubble style. What is this, March Madness?
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. Please, nobody look at Garrett Bradbury right now.
What's happening? Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. It's up to Ty Chandler and Jalen Naylor to carry the 2022 draft class now.
Skol! It's the Viking Squad, sponsored by Game Time. Everything Minnesota Vikings, every week. Breaking down all the big hits and game-changing plays from the land of 10,000 lakes, the way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. It's time to gear up. The Viking Squad Show starts now.
What's happening on a Thursday? Viking Squad Show is back, streaming on Locked On Sports Minnesota and the Locked On Vikings YouTube channels. Audio gets posted on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where you hear Luke Braun covering the Vikings every single day with Locked On Vikings. No Arif Hassan today, to Luke Braun's glee and happiness. And Ron Johnson joined.
Marked safe from Arif Hassan.
For today. Ron Johnson checks in live from the scene of the crime, TCO Performance Center, a little later. Just prior to joint practice number 2, we will be breaking down joint practice number 1, all the reports that came out of Egan from that. Our last 4 in the 53-man roster and our first 4 out. And, of course, we got to have a little Drake May, J.J. McCarthy comparison conversation. But I read all the dispatches. I read all the tweets amidst all of the vitriol about the Twins ownership situation, which really took over the news cycle yesterday. There was a nice little joint practice being held.
What's going on?
Are you not aware of this?
They were
not even one bit at all.
Supposed to be a done deal. Everybody hates the current owners, the Polads, the pocket protectors, as they call them. Don't spend any money. And all of a sudden, they came out yesterday and they said, "Nope, we're keeping it. We're sticking around." So there you go.
And the worst part of it, Braun, is that like they've passed this down now to 3 generations.
Yeah.
So and the current the guy who runs the show now is still really young. Like, it's not like there's light at the end of the tunnel, not to say that like we're wishing for people's demise, but he's super young. Like, he could hang on to this thing for 40 more years. There's no telling what the end date could be. So it's not great. A lot of it,
anybody who's part of the business legacy of the mid-1990s Vikings that almost ran out of money and moved to Birmingham, you got to trust their business acumen.
Yeah, the Timberwolves just got done with their ownership drama. The Vikings are done with ownership drama, we think, for a long time. Twins embroiled in it right now. But there was a joint practice yesterday. What'd you guys hear, see? What do your sources tell you? What's coming out of Egan? I got a good list, but let's hit Luke Braun up. What do you got?
Yeah, I just had Tyler Forness on the show. He was at joint practices. So you can go listen to Locked On Vikings. He gave me the scoop on everything that was going down. Sounds like the quarterbacks had a good day. D-line's had a good day on both sides of the ball. Jonathan Grenard still seems like nobody can really handle him. Kind of unblockable. It looked like Javon Hargrave had a bit of a day on a center who I'm not going to name. I'm not going to say who it was. You don't need to worry about who it was. Good job, Javon Hargrave.
Keep on moving.
Yeah. Just move right by it. But then there were, I think, some concerns on the Vikings O-line on the other side. I think Donovan Jackson had maybe the highlight of the day, but also a couple of lowlights. Donovan Jackson takes a screen and blocks 3 Patriots and 1 Viking, and all 4 of them hit the floor. I mean, not I took them out of the play. I took them out of their shoots. They just bulldozed. Awesome rep. But he also took a couple of L's to guys like Christian Barmore and Milton Williams.
Good player.
Yeah, good players there. But that was the thing. But it seemed like things were. It seemed like there was plenty of on both sides of the ball, and everyone got out of there healthy, which is always important in a joint practice.
Probably low on the pecking order, but just to finally get a new look at this open punt return job too. Obviously Rondell goes down all of a sudden 3 weeks before the season starts here. It's like anybody's guess, it feels like, who's going to be back there. Could somebody like Silas Bolden make this 53 just as a return man? I don't know, but that's definitely something I'm kind of keeping in the back of my mind. It was just the first bigger sample size post Rondell injury as far as that punt return job. And then it sounds like KOC really had a huge emphasis on the run game, and not like a huge shocker or surprise, obviously. We've seen all offseason they revamp the O-line, they go get Jordan Mason, all this and that. But there's no live tackling, which makes things a little hard to evaluate. You don't have Christian Darrisaw, your starting five out there, but by and large, it seems like KOC is really committed to the bit and worked a lot of volume and reps. So just handed the ball off yesterday to Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones and Xavier Scott and Ty Chandler and the whole bit. But so no surprises, just kind of reaffirming, I think, versus a different opponent. You're in joint practices now, reaffirming, I think, what we've all known was coming, which is they don't want to put McCarthy in a position where he's dropping back 50 times every week. Just one of those things that, again, maybe not sexy or fun to sit there and watch him practice, but it does reaffirm a lot of things that we knew was coming.
Do you remember how bad the screen game was in the early KOC era? Like how atrocious the screen game was? Like their screen yards per play, one of the worst in the NFL, if not the worst in the NFL early on. I think the screen game is going to have a major resurgence. And I don't know if you can take anything from a preseason game plan, but like the running backs touched the ball a lot in that game against the Texans. And then that rep you guys were talking about where Jackson just plowed through somebody and ended his life on that screen, I think to Aaron Jones, that really, like, it's hard to know how far plays actually go in a practice setting. It looked like that was a screen that could have gone to the house. That epic rep that was shot from the stands. Really, really, really cool to see. It sounds like the Vikings front seven kind of did what they needed to do, right? Like they'd been terrorizing their own quarterback. Now they terrorize somebody else's quarterback. I would have been alarmed if they couldn't get home against the Patriots and that offensive line and the unnamed center and the unnamed guard who isn't Vidarian Lowe, their other starter, or is he a backup now? I don't know if
he's like deep on the third. He might end up back in Minnesota. Who knows?
He might be the best 2022 Vikings draft class member when it's all said and done. The Vikings
whoa, Speedy Naylor. It's clearly Naylor at this point.
Correct, and very good chance that 0 of 10 sign a second contract with the team. Imagine that, 0 out of 10. Chandler's not, probably. Naylor has a shot, but I think he probably goes elsewhere.
Yeah, he'll get a second. He'll get
that KJ Osborne deal somewhere.
That KJ Osborne thing, but probably won't be with the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean,
Osborne, I don't know. We'll see if they're happy with Ty Felton. Then definitely not. But
the way that your receiving depth looks at the moment, I read from Matthew Collar again, who provides great daily reports on camp. Read that Thayer Thomas worked his way in with the ones a little bit, and he's the forgotten man. People are talking about Jashawn Jones, Silas Bolden because of the punt return bit. Obviously, a lot of Lucky Jackson, who feels like a lock right now. No one's talking about Thayer Thomas, and he didn't make a single play in the preseason game. I still like the guy. I loved the guy in his camps early. I still feel like there's something there with Thayer. And what are the FanDuel odds on wide receiver 5 right now? Like, take Addison out of the equation for 53-man construction. It is an even battle.
Can I take the field waiver claim?
Yeah. who can return punts?
It might come down to that. And KOC said wide open with Rondell.
And right now, Lucky Jackson has been the front runner there because Silas Bolden had a pretty nasty day in the preseason game as that returner. I don't think he made the most of that. Real quick, Sam, on the front seven stuff, one thing that Tyler mentioned, he went out to dinner with a bunch of New England media, and they were all like, so who's that 61 guy? Like, that was the guy that caught all of their eyes and couldn't be. I think Jalen Redmond is really inserting himself into this in a real way. And Tyrion Ingram Dawkins also with the ones a lot and played basically the entire preseason game. They're really, really, I think, planning on. I have no idea what they're planning to do on this interior, but I think it's going to rotate quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably at Taki's expense. I've got Taki off my 53 for the moment. Little teaser. Tyrion Ingram Dawkins working in with the ones at times, from what I heard. And I think they may have had an absence or two. I think Hargrave's been dealing with something. And Tyrion working his way in. Luke, Inman, do you think of Tyrion Lannister whenever you say his name? Because I do.
Every time.
I definitely do.
It's impossible not to. Yeah, he's got to get that.
Yeah, little Game of Thrones. I also read that Jalen Naylor continues to drop the football. This has been a problem throughout camp from the reports I've heard. Dropped another bad one yesterday. Verified last year, like I thought in my head, yeah, he had drop problems, and he dropped that bad one against the Rams. 11th highest drop rate in the league last year, and it's continued in camp. I think that only keeps the door open more for someone like Lucky Jackson. It's bothersome because that's your wide receiver 2 for 3 weeks. That's your wide receiver 2 if Addison gets hurt or Jefferson gets hurt.
The good news is Hawkinson sounded like he had a great day yesterday. Kind of that safety valve sucking up everything JJ threw his way. Love to hear that and get the impression that this dude's truly 100% healthy now, 2 years removed from that injury, knowing he is going to be leaned on a lot, like you said, Sam, those first 3 weeks without Addison. So, it's not great. I think I brought it up a couple episodes ago, looking at the schedule. You're starting Soldier, and then you get 2 softer defenses, I guess, back at home with Cincy and Atlanta, which is good. But I wouldn't be surprised at all or shocked if this offense starts slow out the gate the first month of the season.
Still wide receivers out there. I mean, in the chat, Jacob mentions is something wrong with Gabe Davis. I mean, not just Gabe Davis, but Amari Cooper, big name. Nelson Aguilar has been a player in the league.
I think Cooper
Boyd
said he retired. But
Cooper's out. Okay. I threw out Brandon Powell on Monday. Still think that could be in play. This staff likes to bring back kind of those pet players, the guys that they really, the glue guys, if you will. There's names on this list that the Vikings, I think, could get for a price that would fit under their cap. Haven't made that move yet. Gabe Davis. I mean, 3 years ago, wasn't he scoring touchdowns in the AFC Championship game or AFC Divisional? So that's an interesting one.
I would love to know. Yeah, I mean, he goes to Jacksonville, signs the big contract a year after that, divisional monster game versus the Chiefs that we all remember. I don't know what happened in Jacksonville. I just haven't tapped in or followed him. So I'd be interested to know why he kind of fell off the map there. Because it seemed like his trajectory after the Buffalo playoff game was definitely sky high, and then it kind of just fizzed out very quickly after 1 year in Jacksonville. So he's definitely the big name, it feels like, now that Keenan's gone back to LA with Herbert, and then Amari Cooper is retired. He seems like the last big name out on that wide receiver free agent market. Gabe
Davis is 26 years old, and he's 2 years removed from a 750-yard season, 3 years removed from an 830-yard season. He produced every year in Buffalo. It was not an anomaly. So whatever went down in Jacksonville, and it didn't go well for him, injury. If you could do some on-air research, Luke's, what was the injury that Gabe Davis dealt with? Did not play after week 11.
Got it.
You guys work on that.
Also read. Don't do it, Luke.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
How dare you set me up for that?
Oh, it was a meniscus tear.
Okay.
Expected to need 6 months to recover from the injury.
6 months from week 11. So that would be May, June.
Which was, which turned into a failed physical designation.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I also read that the 2-minute drill went really well for McCarthy. He had a big completion, set up a quote-unquote game-tying field goal for Will Reichert, who went 4 for 4 yesterday. He's quieting some of the critics. I also read from a couple people, Oscar Chapman has been sneaking up on Ryan Wright. I think that there's a lot of times camp punting battles are weird. We don't see hang time numbers, and if anyone cares about that, we don't always know what the call is, where they want the ball to be landing and stuff. And we don't know how the holding's going at all. That's very hard to discern. But just purely from a yardage and punting aesthetic standpoint, it sounds like Oscar Chapman has a little momentum. I don't know if anybody had that on their 53, but don't rule it out. I mean, this is a punting battle, and Ryan Wright is not immune, I don't think, from being usurped.
Yeah, Tyler told me he had probably the worst day of anybody on the Vikings. Probably the biggest loser of the day of the joint practices. I thought his preseason was fine. Oscar Chapman also took one, which went fine, so I don't think any movement happened there. But I was thinking about it, and so a few months ago, I had Chris Cluey on the show, and I asked him about Ryan Wright, and he said, fine. It's okay. Just a little bit of a hang time issue, and then makes him a mediocre punter. And apparently, Ryan Wright in this joint practice has been trying to coffin corner it rather than do hang time punting. So are they trying as a Hail Mary to, maybe see if he can do this style a little bit better because they're, on the verge of calling it quits with him as a hang time punter because he doesn't get enough hang time? Or did he just shank a couple, have a bad day, shake it off, get back to it the next day? But as somebody in the chat pointed out, he took some holding snaps too, Oscar Chapman, which I think is not something that you would like. You don't want to screw with the kicker's timing just by fiddling, just to fiddle. You would do that if you're genuinely considering, hey, can this guy do that job? Because we're really considering making a switch up punter. I think it is a real true battle in a way it maybe wasn't when camp started.
I would need to verify though that the holding snaps weren't happening all along. Like the sessions are usually about 6 to 8 field goals with the actual like players out there. And a lot of times they'll bring in a second holder, to get some like I would be surprised if Chapman was just now getting holding reps, because if he's in camp, he's got to do the stuff that kickers do. So I feel like that's not totally brand new. That's just my gut. That's just my gut from what I've seen in past kicking competitions. Not sure about that.
Can we talk about Drake May just real quick? Just because I heard kind of conflicting reports, I guess, a little bit, how he did against Flores' defense. Some people or some things I read, up and down day, kind of sacked a lot, pressure got in his face. And then, people like Gessling and Andrew Kramer said he looked really sharp, looked way better against Flores' scheme and defense than JJ McCarthy has all summer. So tough to say without being there, but any word of mouth from guys like Tyler Fornes or anything else as far as how Drake May performed yesterday versus that Flores defense?
I read read Alec Lewis and Matthew Collar. It sounds like Vikings defensive line got home, and then some uncalled sacks allowed the play to continue. Like I read one account, Vikings are celebrating in the backfield.
Got it.
And Drake May goes on to throw an absolute dime that wouldn't have occurred.
Got it. a
lot of that, I think that the pressure, like the quarterback,
it's hard in camp, and you go, wow, what a great throw. It's like, okay, that wouldn't happen.
Did that happen for JJ though a lot as well? Then
I think
so. Versa.
That
That's just kind of what happened. That's just how it looks sometimes to joint practices.
Which allows you to evaluate the quarterback and say, okay, good job, QB.
Yep.
But you can say, okay, O-line messed up, QB made a good play, and you can take both of those notes separately and for what they are.
But two things can happen on one play like that for sure when assessing two parts of your offense for sure.
Tan the man thinks holding on kicks is more important than punting efficiency. Could kind of see that. I mean, if you have a problem with touchbacks, that I think is worse. Like if you're losing 20 yards of field position pretty routinely, and you're netting like 20 yards on a punt, that can't happen. But I totally get the point.
Sam, from all our days at Mankato, do you have one dominant practice? Maybe it's a single practice or a week or an entire training camp of just dominance by one guy. I always think back to Everson Griffin destroying Matt Khalil for like 2 weeks straight. Like just good. Like it was Khalil's like 4th year, I want to say, finally hoping he steps up. Just opened the pizza joint down the block, right? Things are good. And Everson Griffin just took him to the tool shed every single day. It reminds me of what we're hearing about Jonathan Grenard. Unblockable. Whether it's, obviously Christian Darrisaw's not in the mix right now, but whether it's the first team Vikings offensive line all summer or even somebody else like the Patriots offensive line, Grenard sounds like he's having a great dominant camp so far.
Yeah. And he's doing it against, at least one tackle who's can hold his own very well, and Brian O'Neill. The other side, Justin School, probably a little leakier. To answer your question, I was going to say rookie year Anthony Barr. I don't know if you remember that camp. Rookie year Barr was flashing. First year Zimmer, people were excited. Barr was popping. Barr had a great year. And I thought camp was kind of a precursor. And Stephon, a lot of the rookies, like Stephon Diggs' first camp, unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, you knew the guy was going to be legit. Oddly, Justin Jefferson, not a great first camp. Yeah. You brought up Drake May. Inman, and we're going to get to that. Let's do a little May McCarthy comparison talk when we return other side of this on The Squad Show. We are brought to you today by Monarch Money. Yes, Monarch Money is a way to track your finances and have financial freedom. Most people don't know, what they're worth. It's hard to keep track of the properties, the investments, the 401ks that are spread over multiple companies. When you have the full picture, that helps you grow your wealth because you have the knowledge. You know how much you have. You know what you need to budget. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. Link your accounts in minutes. Find your transactions, sort them, categorize them. You can link your account up with a partner or spouse. Don't have to touch a spreadsheet. Monarch does all the work. So don't let this financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL. It's Monarch Money. All right, before we get into May versus McCarthy, this is just an impromptu exercise. Quick redraft, quarterback only of the 2024 first round. So you've got Williams, Jaden, Drake May, Penix, McCarthy, and Nix.
Yeah, so I think Jaden goes. I think Jaden goes first.
Jaden won.
Drake May 2.
Some of us knew.
Nix.
Some of us knew.
Now, where does Nix fit in here? Because Nix was
I think you're going to have a lot of different answers depending on who you ask. A lot of people are bought into it. Is it just a Sean Payton thing? I think he fizzes out, or at least comes back down to earth, not just this year, but over the next couple of years personally. But where he fits into these 6 guys, I guess, I think I'd probably still put him near the end. Yeah, go ahead.
Williams is the other wild card because you're still going to put him up there with his raw talent, but Nix had the better
How
year.
much of his draft grade is he still coasting on? Because he's basically added nothing to it. And if anything, subtracted from it with a bad rookie year.
The problem is, too, that rookie year was so bad. How detrimental will it be for his development, the way he was unable to maneuver in the pocket and just kept running backwards and not stepping up in the pocket? Sometimes that kind of gets ingrained to a rookie, and all of a sudden it becomes a mental thing that they have a hard time overcoming. I'm not saying Ben Johnson can't fix that, but it's only year 2, plenty of time to figure it out, but not a great start at all. As far as just quarterback traits going from college to the NFL, he did not look good in a lot of different areas. So
I think you would.
I don't know. Do you still put him 3? I don't know.
I don't know either, because every quarterback. So McCarthy is incomplete because he didn't play at all. Williams.
I loved
worse.
Penix. I love Penix.
Williams was worse than expected. The other 4 were arguably better than expected. I think you could say that they all exceeded or at minimum met.
Yeah, I think May met expectations. My expectation for him was, he's going to die behind a horrible O-line. And he did, and it wasn't his fault, and it kind of didn't change anything for me.
Yeah. So May or McCarthy long-term, you got the quarterback that allegedly the Vikings really loved in Drake May. J.J. McCarthy, the guy they ended up with, 5th quarterback off the board. It feels to me like inherently playing indoors for half your games, and having Justin Jefferson for most of your 20s and working for an offensive-minded head coach that's probably going to have continuity with you. There is such an inherent advantage to being J.J. McCarthy versus Drake May, who's got the defensive-minded coach, the tougher conditions, does not have a receiving core at all in New England at the moment. Early years favor McCarthy so much.
He's got the ego. He's got the best ecosystem in the entire NFL, for that matter. I think it comes down to, what is your definition of a better career? Is it stats? Is it Pro Bowls? Is it touchdowns? Is it wins? Is it losses? Is it playoff wins? Is it a Super Bowl? I'm totally with you. I think if JJ was on almost any other team outside of maybe 2, 3, or 4 offenses with.
Chicago is the best destination ever for a rookie quarterback. Ever.
Soldier Field, yeah. That's
ever.
A franchise that has never had a 4,000-yard quarterback.
And Darnell Wright.
Yeah. Yeah. Darnell Wright.
Chase Claypool.
We got a right tackle. Dude, we got one right tackle.
That was the most insane narrative I think I've ever seen.
That was crazy.
Take over and become popular. I've never seen anything like that.
That was crazy. Yeah, to your point, though, Sam, I mean, you're right. JJ's got one of the best, if not the best, ecosystem around him. The coaches, the skill players, the O-line now, the running game, the defense to help him out as well, close out games, produce turnovers, things like that. Had he not been in like this ecosystem, I would personally pretty confidently say Drake May. And again, that's not a detriment to JJ. I was just a huge May coming out, guy coming out, prototypical size, the football genes, the build, the IQ, the mobility, all that. I think he's going to have a really good career in front of him. But to your point, Sam, dude, this entire setup that JJ's got from top to bottom, it's tough to beat. And I think when you put a kid in there like that, with everything around him from top to bottom, including, yes, playing indoors, like you said, half the season as well. I just feel like, again, pending your definition of what a better career is, I feel like I got to lean JJ McCarthy right now, early on anyways, right now. Mm-hmm. Like, can the Patriots go fix that O-line pretty quickly? Can they get him like an alpha, big bodied number one wideout?
Quick fix an O-line.
Well, like something.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money this offseason, and they had a lot of money to spend. And I'm still sitting here from the lens
line for Teddy. Surely that won't take a decade.
From the lens of like, how are we developing? Like our number one priority should be developing Drake May this year from year 1 to year 2. And I'm sitting here with all the money that they spent, and I'm just scratching my head like, how much better is his supporting cast really this year? You got Stephon Diggs. You got a couple crapshoot day 2, day 3 wide receivers you brought in, 1 or 2 offensive linemen that I personally don't really feel that great about. Travion Henderson apparently is lighting the world on fire, so that's good. But outside of that, they didn't move the needle a lot for me as far as how much money they had to spend and go help them
offensive players they signed: Stephon Diggs.
Okay.
32 Morgan Moses. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Morgan Moses.
34, 33.
Tackle.
Yep.
Garrett Bradbury. That's a needle mover.
Okay.
A mentor in Josh
Who's
Dobbs.
the needle in my heart?
Mac Hollins, like wide receiver 3 or 4 material.
No shoes, Mac. Okay.
And I don't know, Wes Schweitzer. I'm guessing he's like a swing guard. That's about it.
That's including offensive line. That's it. I mean, okay, who did they draft? Okay. They got Will Campbell. Okay. They used their top 5 pick on a tackle.
4th overall pick on a tackle, which I don't really love the automatic nature of that. It actually reminds me a lot of Matt Khalil, a guy we're like just sort of ignoring is like kind of undersized and weird. But I guess I approach this a little differently, because if we're talking like redraft, right? Does supporting cast, like, put it this way, if the Patriots were like May for McCarthy, we want to make the trade, would you do that? Would you want to do that? I would. I mean, my draft take was that Drake May was QB2 and Jaden Daniels was QB1. I kind of wish I had put McCarthy over Caleb Williams. I think my instinct was to do that, but peer pressure told me not to, and I listened to peer pressure. But either way, not much has happened last year to change my mind about either of these guys. JJ McCarthy didn't play. Drake May did, but like I said before, too much was wrong in New England for me to really ever get a sense for how good he was. So he sort of, everything just kind of stays at status quo, and status quo is that I would rather have May than McCarthy. And I think, like, if you found out that the Patriots and Vikings traded young QBs after this joint practice, would you be happy about it or sad about it? I think I would feel like we got better.
Oh, 100%.
After the feeling that it's the weirdest trade that's ever happened.
Emotionally,
so in a redraft context, right, where everybody goes back in the pool, whoever comes here gets that great supporting cast.
100%.
So sure, maybe McCarthy will have better stats because he's got Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison to throw to. But in terms, I guess I'm thinking of it as a different question, which is, I would rather have the guy that I had QB2 versus the guy I had QB4.
Let's get Ron Johnson's take on this. He's live on the scene, TCO Performance Center. He's going to give us his report, and I think he's in a little time crunch, so we want to get to Ron right now, or after this, I should say, on the Viking Squad Show. We're brought to you by Yahoo Fantasy today. Yahoo Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy football. It's getting into full swing. The group chat's blowing up. Thinking of my sleepers, thinking where I want to invest my auction money. You can play fantasy football like never before now. Guillotine leagues are now part of the Yahoo Fantasy offerings. Every week, lowest scoring team is eliminated. Last one standing wins. It's Fantasy Football Survivor. And to celebrate 28 years of fantasy football greatness, Yahoo Fantasy's dropping 28 big new features over 28 days throughout August. Again, guillotine leagues, killer new way to play fantasy football on Yahoo. And after you get eliminated, then your players go into like the free agent pool and you bid on them. And there's a whole new element with mid-season drafts, essentially. So if you're more into the classics, you can play that way too. Head-to-head, private leagues, public leagues, whatever you want. Stay tuned for more announcements. Play Yahoo Fantasy Football now, yahoofantasy.com/LockedOnNFL. Ron Johnson joins from Egan TCO Performance Center, Vikings Squad Show. Ron, you were there yesterday. Let's get right to it. What'd you see?
Well, I mean, it's a slow start for both teams, but one-on-ones was where the energy started fast. Stephon Diggs absolutely lit a couple guys on fire, and we know that's expected. One-on-ones, there's no pass rush, so it's literally DBs holding on for their life. But I'm pretty sure you guys saw it on social media. Jeff Okudah looked lost trying to keep up with Stephon Diggs. But honestly, I think most DBs in the country, in the world, are going to look lost at times trying to keep up with Stephon Diggs. JJ McCarthy, a little bit indecisive at times, just looked like, the Vrabel defense, which has a little bit of Belichick, actually has a little Flores thumbprint on it too. The coverages were making him throw a little bit later than he probably should have. But again, this is the reason for this work. This is the reason why they're here, is to get this full go work that you don't get in games, that you can't get in practice with your own guys. And so today I expect him to be a little bit quicker because, after one of the periods, you could see he was visibly frustrated. Like he kind of was like, looking like, coach, let me go in again. And they had already had it scripted out. But they ended up not being able to get it done the way they thought they should get it done. And so, but I know he was like, I don't know if he was asking Kevin O'Connell to go back in, but you could see he was kind of pacing back and forth like, man, when I'm going back in, I'm gonna be ready next time. So they frustrated him early on, but I think both offenses kind of had that. I think Josh Dobbs threw a pick six, threw like another interception. One of their other quarterbacks threw an interception. So it was a defensive day on both ends. The cool thing, though, was to see Donovan Jackson in the screen game. I brought this up a long time ago before they even drafted him. I said the Ohio State games when they had screens to, I forgot was it Travion? I forgot the running back's name from Ohio State.
Yep.
But when he was out in the screen game, they had Donovan Jackson at over 20 miles an hour. And you saw that yesterday. Yesterday, he got a chance to get out moving, and I think he threw 2 or 3 people onto their butts. And so to see him move down the field, keep up with Aaron Jones, shows the athleticism. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of screens early on in these preseason games, but I think as the season gets going, one, you got to keep the defense honest if they're going to just try to blitz you all the time with a behind them screen. But two, you have an offensive guard who's built to move like that. And then Fries and Kelly, they stand up to what they look like. They're big, they're strong, they're a wall. And then, I got a chance to talk to Garrett Bradbury for a little bit. So nothing football related with him, more so just he was excited to be back. He was happy to be back. And then I talked to Diana Rossini, and, the one thing about Diana, she's right over here with Mike Vrabel standing right here. That's why I don't know if you guys saw the person put the cone here was to stop people from walking into my shot. But they put a cone right here to help me out. But I know that timing's coming up where cameras got to go off once the players start getting out here. But when you think about what's going on and what they're doing, Diana Rossini said, she wasn't hating on JJ McCarthy. She said that she was more so trying to like level the expectations to say, hey, he's going to struggle a little bit. It's going to take time to get going. But he is good. She didn't deny that he isn't good. She just said in college, he wasn't set up to pass. That's the same thing I've been saying. He wasn't set up to pass in college. He was set up to hand the ball off, manage the game. Now Kevin O'Connell's going to have to unlock him like he unlocked Kirk Cousins. He unlocked Josh Dobbs. And then he unlocked Sam Darnold. We all know that story. So I think JJ McCarthy over the next, 2 or 3 weeks, Kevin O'Connell's going to keep putting that thumbprint on him to make sure that he's able to get the ball out of his hands quick.
Hey, Ron, give me a Ron winner from yesterday, from day one. A guy that maybe was with the first team you didn't expect to see out there, maybe somebody who made a great splashy play in your eyes, just a winner from offense or defense.
Well, my guy Kobe King got the green dot, so he's the green dot now out there. Him and Eric Wilson both have it, but that's because there'll be times where Kobe he has the ability to play either linebacker. I think that's the versatility that he brought that linebackers previously didn't have. where Kobe King can rush the passer from the edge. He can rush the passer from the middle, and he can drop back and play in the coverage, and he can take on a fullback. So he has a green dot now, so he's learning the green dot calls. He's learning how to set the defense up and call it. My guess is on Saturday he'll get a lot of that time because I don't think we're going to see much of Cashman in pace. So you'll see a lot of Kobe King out there with Eric Wilson, but they both have the green dot. Only one can use it at a time. So I think they're going to have to, they have to, I forgot what he was telling me, but they have to basically tell the booth and tell the officials which guy is the actual green dot at the moment. Also for communication standpoint, if a ref needs to get communication in, then they need to make sure they know what's going on. But yeah, Kobe King is, as a rookie, now has a green dot on his helmet. So that was one of the winners for me. The other one was Nudie. Nudie had a nice day, had an interception, was sticky in coverage all day. He just showed, that he's trying to really get on that field and be that third, DB. And again, if I had to pick a loser, just the Stephon Diggs highlights did not make Jeff Okudah look good in the eyes of a lot of social media people. So yeah, those
there's
are
a
my two
viral,
winners.
pretty rough clip
of Diggs and Okudah. Was it one-on-ones?
Okudah, yeah.
Ron?
It was one-on-ones. Okudah was in press, did the thing where he doesn't move at the release. He kind of dares you to do your thing, and that's maybe the last guy in the entire world you want to do that against.
Yikes. Braun, what do you got for Ron?
Yeah, so I've been hearing that Jordan Addison has been this absolute force in these camps. Alec Lewis called him unguardable. I'm wondering if you saw the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and can you please tell Garrett Bradbury that I love him very much?
I will. I'll see him. He should be out here in like 20 minutes. And by the way, we're going to be live on K-Fan Radio from like 12 to 2. So that's the other reason why I've been out here the last 2 days. I'm hosting or helping Brandon Molesky out while Common Man is taking a golf vacation, as if he needs more golf. But when you think about Jordan Addison, him and JJ McCarthy clearly have clicked. Every timing pass seems to be on point. Every corner route, he's letting the ball go before Jordan Addison breaks. So that's what I talk about when, Sam and I talked about this with Justin Jefferson being out. And we talked about this a lot yesterday on the show with Justin Jefferson being out. How quick or how long is it going to take him and JJ McCarthy to get on the same page? It's going to take some time because he's learned Jordan Addison over the OTAs, mini camps, and then now this camp. He's been his guy. That's been his go-to guy. And I think that's going to be the key to this is Jordan Addison. It's not so much unguardable. It's just JJ McCarthy knows where to throw the ball, when to throw the ball. So he's making the right throws.
We've got someone in the chat, Doug, who is wondering about Ivan Pace. He didn't think Pace had a good day. He thinks Pace is too small and struggles in coverage. How would you respond to that? Have you observed anything like that? And just the general thought on Doug's part.
Erroneous on all counts. The only time I saw Ivan Pace get held up was in the gunner punt game. They had a punt drill for special teamers where, honestly, it's built for the rushers. But there was one time where the linebacker who was running with them down the field, and it got a little bit, pushy at the end, but Ivan Pace, cooler head, because the guy was screaming in his ear after he stopped him. And Ivan Pace, you could tell he wanted to jump at him, and he's like, "No, coach, you kill me if I do something right now." And then they both kind of shook hands, man, we're just out competing. But I think that's the key is when you think about what this looks like, how they're setting this up, and the players are starting to get out here now. But what that looks like, how they're setting it up. Ivan Pace he was fine. He was fine in coverage. The only drill I saw was he just got held up. And that, again, that's not a bad rep on his part. That's just a great rep on the Patriots special teams guy. I think it was number 55, the linebacker, if I'm not mistaken. Was it 55? No, it wasn't 55. 55 is a guard. I don't know who it was. I gotta go back and look because I know we got some film shots and some stuff. I know I'm shooting some stuff today. I'm hoping to get some Max Brosmer game breakdown for the pregame show on Saturday. I just got an email, text, call from the Vikings over here to my left, and they were asking me, "Hey, do you want to film it now or do you want to do it after K-Fan?" So we're gonna try to get that too. But yeah, when I look at the film, I'm gonna get a chance to look at some of that stuff back because we're gonna use. I don't know if we're using camp film or we're gonna use game film from last week, but I know I get to watch it. And I'll see who that was. But yeah, no, Ivan Pace is fine in my opinion. He looks good. He's fast. His job is to run sideline to sideline. Blake Cashman is the hard-nosed, hit up in there, make the tackle guy, and they kind of work together. Blake is kind of the tip of the spear, I guess you want to call it, and Ivan Pace is following him.
Ron, do you have to go or do you have time for one more?
I got time for one more.
All right, real quick.
What's going on?
Jack Gibbons, former Gopher.
Are you going to have the players walk right by you? Can you get a little drive-by going on for us?
No, I don't think they want me to do that.
Can you just tilt down on Darisaw's knee? Just
the Patriots have been very particular about what players talk to the media. So
put Vrabel on real quick. I want to talk to him real quick.
Yeah, just tilt, just pan over and let's see what they're talking about over there.
Hey, it's
he's
Lindsey
standing
Young.
here with Lindsey Young. He's standing there with Diana Rossini right here, like to my is this my right? Yeah, my right.
You got to see Rossini did a sit down with Diggs and asked Diggs who he wouldn't want to date his sister. It was kind of a great clip. You got to check it out.
Who did he say?
He said all the dudes in the video.
Referring to
the
starts with
B-Rob.
The 96 questions. Referring to all the dudes in the 96 questions video. Yeah. Last one.
Cook, Treadwell, Thielen.
Yeah. Concern
Thielen's
level.
a great
Ron,
guy. What is he talking about?
Yeah. He actually did say all the guys except Thielen. Thielen's a good dude.
Okay.
The concern level that we haven't seen Justin Jefferson yet. We're now 3 weeks with the injury. What's your 1 to 10 concern level?
I mean, it's a hamstring, so he's jogging around. Honestly, with hamstrings, like this is the problem with a hamstring or soft. And you said Jefferson, right? Sorry.
Yeah.
Standing right here.
Jefferson.
When you think about a soft tissue injury, you never know until you go full speed again. So he's gonna have to go full speed. I think that's the key. He's out here jogging and running around, but until he goes full speed, that's when you'll find out.
All right, sounds good, Ron. We don't want you to get in trouble. Turn that camera off, and we will talk to you soon.
I think I'm good. I think there's still time. I'm trying to catch Diana Rossini, so I'm gonna see if maybe she'll go quick before practice gets started.
What's your first question for her?
Well, I'm gonna see if she's gonna do it first. Two, she remembered me from like 10 years ago, when we took a picture together. So, but yeah. Other than that, I don't know. I might ask her about the JJ McCarthy. Like, what's her deal?
There you go.
Why does she love Aaron Rodgers so much?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Ron. Appreciate it. Ron Johnson show. He had good interviews this week. He had Felton. He had Murphy. He had Naylor. He had a power pack Tuesday show. Make sure you check it out. He's at 3.
And
Ron
sorry,
Johnson.
I couldn't. So he was right behind the camera. Vrabel was, but they, the security guys right here. He's probably. I could tell he's trying to make sure I don't flip my camera. I don't think I can do it. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I can do it.
Maybe tomorrow.
But Vrabel's right here on the other because the weight room is right behind me.
Yeah.
I think they thought I was videotaping the weight room first because they put a security guard right here.
Who's more intimidating, Vrabel or Brian Flores?
I'd say Vrabel, just stature alone.
Just
like
stature.
Vrabel's
got a little bit on him, doesn't he? A couple more inches.
That's fair if he's next to you. I think he might be in earshot, so I think you have to
answer. He's a little bit bigger.
Way.
Yeah, right. He might be able to hear me. I can't tell. I know they're looking over here like, what is this guy doing? But another thing.
Where's his media credential? Who is this guy?
Right, it's on the ground too. That's the thing. Like I'm like, it's right over here. Like I'm not a random fan.
What was this 2014 training camp interviewing Stephon Diggs?
But right, that's what I'm trying. Well, I am gonna show Stephon the video to remind him that 2014.
That was 15. It was
50. So 10 years ago. Yeah.
10 years ago. 10-year anniversary. Yeah.
10-year anniversary. So I will have to do that. I'll say Luke Inman. Now I got the whole thing. I got wireless mics now. I got all the I've upgraded. My camera guy is nobody though, so I did downgrade there. I don't know. That might be upgrade.
Technology's improved.
Yeah.
My new cameraman's a little bit more steady. I'll say that.
I'm actually Inman's I'm not going to argue that. I can't argue that. Yeah.
He was nervous talking to Stephon.
He was a little nervous.
Ron, you sound like studio quality, by the way. Like I can tell there's wind, and you sound really good out there, man.
I got the new beats, so I went and got some new beats yesterday. I went and got the wireless mic set up because when I figured if I can get Rossini, because she's sitting over here. So I'm like, I can't go over there with a wired mic and all this. Yeah. Like, I got to have the real stuff. I got the lapel mics, 2 of them now, which Sam is going to help us during football season with the Gopher stuff. Now I can just give each of us a mic. I don't have to go back and forth. It can go up to like 150 feet. So I'm ready. But yeah, all the players are walking. Let me see if I can get a little bit of this. Let me see if I can. Oh, there it is.
Oh, here we go.
So you got the players coming in now. A couple offensive linemen. That's Dawn from Fox 9. But you got the players showing up now. You got the weight room over there.
Donovan?
Randall?
That was 74. And then you got Bradbury coming out the weight room. I don't want to turn the camera because then I think they'll know like what I'm doing. But yeah, you got Bradbury coming out. Actually though, like the media has their cameras out now too though. So I might be good. But the players are starting to come in. Patriots guys are getting here early to do their stretches and warm-ups. I don't know why linemen come so early though, to be honest. They don't run fast. So I never understand why linemen feel like they need to get out here early to stretch. Like, where are they going to hurt? And there's a couple more guys. I'll get one more shot. Let's see.
Maybe because they walk the slowest just from point A to point B. So they're like, we better head out now.
I think
while all the DBs
guys
and skill players sprint right by them with all that burst of energy.
And you got a little sprinkle going. So, it's coming there. And then you got Vikings. I think Vikings staff or 2 coaches walking behind me. Funny, when I walked in here earlier, everybody thought I was a coach. So that was funny. Everybody's like,
I wonder if there's anyone in the stands streaming us right now, and they're like, hey, where is Ron? Where's Ron? We see him on the screen. Where's and they're like looking for you right now.
One more player coming in, 45. I don't know who 45 is. Who was that? Monty Rice, linebacker out of Georgia.
Not our guy. Okay.
Not our guy. No. I wish I had known I could have flipped it, because Jack Gibbons, that was who I was. He walked right by it too. So I got a nice little spot though. Set up right here.
Yeah.
63 is coming
Good
in
setup
for the Patriots.
Good setup. A little hard for us to see.
But Butler, rookie out of Arkansas State. Offensive guard. I don't know. Maybe if we need a backup guard, he gets cut. Maybe
Ron, why don't you public address announce at number 45, New England. McCarthy.
So, yeah.
Butler.
Yeah, and Vrabel is let me see if I can get this Vrabel shot. He's over here now.
It's a who's who.
Yeah, see, he's
Patriots,
over here right
Vikings.
So you got Vrabel under
practices.
the tent. So you got Vrabel under the tent right now, hanging out with his guys, getting ready. The vest to me isn't scary. Like that's what I think makes him less scary. Is the
Does he have the stash still? Still got the stash?
I can't tell. He's under the shadow, but you see him right there with the white sleeves and the vest. So that's his deal. But
got it.
All right, man. I'm gonna get out of here and try to catch Diana Rossini.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate you.
See you, Ron.
Later. Some Brian Flores breaking news, and last 4 in, first 4 out after a quick pause. Hit with one of these after the break.
Heyo.
Luke Braun, what we got?
A break in the lawsuit with Brian Flores. Not a huge one, but it does, I think, imply some momentum. The NFL, this is from Schefter, the NFL can be put on trial over civil claims that Brian Flores and other black coaches face discrimination, a federal appeals court ruled Thursday, finding insurmountable flaws with a league arbitration process that would permit Commissioner Roger Goodell to serve as arbitrator. I think there are 2 main things. One, that basically just means, okay, we're not throwing the case out, but it could potentially lead to a big reform in Roger Goodell's kind of judge, jury, executioner, and this sort of independent arbitrator thing that they've done with discipline cases in the past and with these kinds of matters, whether they're conduct policy cases or stuff like what Brian Flores is suing about, could take a little bit of power away from the commissioner, which I know the owners would not like.
This is on the heels of the John Gruden news, where they also kind of cut down the NFL and said, no, you can't have Roger Goodell oversee an arbitration where he is the accused. You can't do that. And the courts were like, no, that's ridiculous. So this will force the NFL. This will force things to be brought to light. It will look bad for the NFL. It also probably is. I don't know if it damages. Sorry, we got a bug trying to fly in my mouth. It might damage Brian Flores' next coaching cycle again. I would say, like, if he's very visibly in the court system and discovery is happening and things are being said and accused. I don't know if this is great for Brian Flores' promotional opportunities. I don't know. I don't know what the outcome will be, but because there's going to be a lot of noise around him, I just wonder what that means for his future. Kind of curious about it. I don't have answers. I don't have good answers. I do have answers about the last 4 in, first 4 out. Think about Joe Lunardi. Think about March Madness. This is like a bubble team exercise. Who are your last 4 Vikings on the roster right now? Let's start with that. Who you got on the roster, Luke Inman?
Dwight McGlothern. I was actually referring to Alec Lewis's 53-man projection he made 2 days ago. He actually has Zayamai Vaughn over McGlothern.
Instead of McGlothern, I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm still going McGlothern. Ron actually made me feel a lot better about that. Ron made me feel a lot better because it sounded like Dwight had a really good day yesterday, very sticky in coverage, long, lanky, good speed. Xavier Scott. You can probably guess who I have on my out once we get there. Ben Urasek, somebody's got to win this tight end 3. I could be wrong with Ben, but you throw in one of the 3 random tight ends, I feel like they're going to be right at the bottom of this 53. And then Joe Huber, probably my least confident one, but I just really liked what we saw from Joe Huber, and I don't know if they can sneak him on the practice squad. This offensive line grouping seems pretty deep, I guess, when you're talking about like second team kind of guys, potential kind of guys. So, Logan Brown, Joe Huber, all those guys in the mix. Juergens, obviously, they're going to keep. But those are my big 4 right now. Joe Huber. Ask me tomorrow. That might change.
Yeah. I've got Urasek in, but again, I'm not confident that it's Urasek. I think that it could be Nesbitt. I think it could be Vanette. I've got Richter on the edge. I've got Vaughn as my 6th CB. So I've got McGlothern on as CB5.
Already.
On CB6. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then I'm throwing in a special teamer at the very end. And I really, this guy's had almost no momentum, but the Tim Jones factor and the disaster he had in the first preseason game, I'm going with Tavier Thomas as sort of the 53rd guy, the special teamer / safety, not cornerback, as I had previously thought he was. So those are my 4 in. Braun, who you got?
I did the exact same thing with Tavier and Tim Jones. I am doing a full 53-man roster, by the way, for Locked On Vikings, which will be up tomorrow. I always do one after the first preseason game, so plug. Go check that out when it's up. And I found myself once again at like 50, 51 players going, who else I guess makes it? And that's usually, I think, when you get to that spot, when you start seeing like waiver claims. So like I have waiver claim TBD in the wide receiver room. Maybe that's Brandon Powell also. But I don't know who makes the wide receiver room at all. So I just left it off of this. I have my 4 in: Xavier Scott, same reasons Luke said, Tavier Thomas. Max Brosmer, I've got him in as somebody that I think is kind of right on the bubble because there's somebody else who he's competing for that spot with. And I am just kind of going with where the momentum is, even though I don't think he's above Rippin right now. It doesn't sound like he's taking those reps. The momentum is trending that way. And then Levi Drake Rodriguez, who it sounds like they're higher on Tyrion Ingram Dawkins as an interior lineman, and he would be the 6th. But it sounds like he's doing just enough to justify that.
Yeah, and Tyrion Ingram Dawkins has the spot because of his draft status. So that even if,
but he's playing with like the ones a lot. Like it seems like they're excited about him, not just stashing him in healthy scratch all day. All
fair.
Day.
That's fair. Inman
that
first
could be
4 out.
Cool.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ty Chandler, again, opposite Xavier Scott there. Zami Vaughn. I want them to keep both Dwight McGlothern, and I just don't think they're going to keep 6. So I got Dwight, I got Nudie in, Vaughn out. Tavier Thomas, you guys kind of talked me into him, actually. If we did this exercise again in a couple days, I might change my mind. Maybe after I see preseason game 2, how that shakes out. But Tavier Thomas, I got on the outs, and then Brett Rippin. So I probably could have had Max Brosmer in my in, but I got Brett Rippin out.
I've got, and I might change my mind on this one, I've got Huber as the first one out. But the more I think about it, I wonder if it's better to keep the young guy with the upside and then take a gamble on someone like Tavier Thomas as a veteran practice squad addition and then just elevate him a bunch and just play the practice squad game. Because there are so many practice squad spots. I don't know if people are clamoring over Tavier Thomas. Maybe they are. Maybe he's got enough equity. That might be someone you can sneak on this practice squad. And if you don't, you're not going to lose sleep over it. You might lose sleep over Joe Huber. I don't know. Deshaun Jones, I've got him out. And I have no idea who the 5th wide receiver is going to be. And this is without Addison in the mix, by the way. It's Thomas, it's Deshaun, it's Bolden, it's Miles Price, who's in the mix now. I put Thayer Thomas on, and I've got Deshaun Jones out. Taki Taimani is out. I think Tyrion Ingram Dawkins and LDR have played their way above him. And I wrote down Jones. What did I mean by Jones?
Tim Jones?
Tim Jones. Tim, thank you. Tim Jones out. Braun.
Did the same thing with Tim Jones out. Did the same thing with Rippin, just barely out. because of Brosmer. I picked a D tackle who I think is kind of pushing the roster, but just won't quite make it because I don't think there's quite enough room, but it's not Taki Taimani, who on my rewatch of the preseason game, I actually think struggled a good bit and got outplayed by somebody next to him, Elijah Williams, who is, I think, close, but most of what he did in that game, he did against the threes, and it wasn't perfect. There were also some times where he couldn't quite hold his spot against the double or whatever. And so I think it's just not quite there yet. And then the last one is, if I got Xavier Scott in, it means that he edged out Ty Chandler. And I think the team is going to be really reticent to do that. They have relied on Ty Chandler a lot as a special teamer, on punt coverage, on, of course, kick return units. And I think it's going to be hard for them to part ways. They need Xavier Scott to kind of take over that job. And they have Ty Felton taking the kick return, so that part's moot. But they need Xavier Scott to essentially take over every single part of Ty Chandler's job. I think that's happening. It's just going to be so hard for them to do it that he is really my true first out.
Doug, I loved Williams in the Texans game, Elijah Williams. I think he's on the practice squad. I just think the front seven,
sure.
There's too
many guys. There's too many bodies.
It's just too much talent.
Yep. Preseason fantasy team waiver claims. Arif did submit his. Again, we drafted preseason fantasy teams because we are degenerate and it's a whole lot of fun. And this is how it looked after 1 week. Luke Inman dominating 40+ points. I believe second place was Braun with 26, Arif with 19.2. These are the teams. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right now. I am in fourth, in last, and I get the first waiver claim. I think I like my defense. I really like my defense. My offense got me 1 combined point. I'm sticking with Trey Stewart because I feel like Trey Stewart has touchdown potential. He's got fourth quarter potential. This is very off-brand, but I think I might nix the Italian Stallion, Giovanni Ricci. It was a good bet when they didn't have Nick Vannett. Nick Vannett could also take some snap share away from him. I'm going to go with the touchdown scorer, Miles Price. Miles Price is my waiver claim in place of Giovanni Ricci. Now, Ricci is not available to you guys now, is he?
Not till next week.
Right.
That's
I thought he was.
Oh, you can.
I don't think it works that way. You think he goes back into the pool?
One man's trash, right? I mean, I'm not going to do it, but
I'm down for whatever. I mean, just in most fantasy normal football leagues, which this is definitely not that. That guy gets frozen for, you
only have 2 weeks, so I feel like
no, that's true. That's again, I'm down for whatever. I'm not going to take him, so it doesn't really matter.
Well,
to me,
Arif has chosen to take. I got to check. He's dropping Tim Jones, who got him 1.7 points last week. He is adding Chaz Chambliss on defense.
Wow.
Chaz Chambliss on defense. Braun, you didn't think he had a good game. You didn't like his game.
No, I think he was genuinely awful, but he'll get a lot of snaps.
He scored a lot in fantasy, I think.
He got production. He just looked bad.
It's not about playing well. It's about producing.
I mean, and I think sometimes those things are related, right? Like some of the issues were he was doing the Dallas Turner, Van Ginkel, Bo Richter role of dropping into coverage and being that kind of hybrid edge rusher. He was very much doing the Dallas Turner role, and then he would screw up in coverage and get the tackle. And that's a fantasy point.
Braun, your turn.
Can I see what defenders are available on this spreadsheet?
It's not on the spreadsheet.
It's not on the spreadsheet. Okay, I gotta look
to write down. You gotta look at the roster. You got 0
figure out who you want. Target
yeah,
your
well,
guy.
I've got a player who's cut now, so I gotta do. I wasn't gonna do any waiver claims, but then Brian Asamoah got cut, so I need to.
They also signed. They signed Max Tooley again.
They brought Max Tooley back.
They had previously released. They also signed someone that hadn't been on the team. They signed Cam Gill, outside linebacker, 5th year in the league, 27-year-old Cam Gill.
You know who we haven't talked about at all? And he had a sneaky good game against the Texans. I don't think there's room for him at all on the roster, so he's kind of an afterthought. But I'm going to take Jonathan Harris instead of Brian Asamoah. Get somebody on the D-line, see if I can rack up a few tackles.
Jonathan Harris. Asamoah was tied for your second leading scorer. That's a big loss.
It's a big loss. Yeah. I need Silas Bolden to catch that damn strike from Brosmer.
Yeah, could have gone for 6. All right, Luke Inman, you had a pretty good team. Do you want to mess with it?
Well, you know what the problem is? Gabe Murphy was so good. Does he start losing some snaps now at this point? Because they just kind of know what they got with him at this point. But I'm going to have to at least ride that out one more game. Jayshon Jones, you know, I'm thinking about what you said about Thayer Thomas getting first team reps. Feel like these wide receivers are a crapshoot. Just trying to find guys that are going to play a lot in the second half. I'm going to swap out Jayshon Jones for Thayer Thomas.
Check the roster to your right. See who's on there.
Of course, of all the people, of course you got 0 points. 0.
Yeah, the only available receiver that isn't hurt or a starter is Dante Fleming.
Maybe that's a sign I should just roll with what I got.
All right. Final answer.
Final answer.
Dante Fleming got a red zone, end zone target. Low red zone.
I'll share the wealth. Somebody else can have them.
Okay. Well, that's.
I would have thought about it with Silas Bolden, but I had bigger problems.
Yeah. Quick thoughts in closing on the departure or the waiving of Brian Asamoah.
Just kind of funny timing. You know, injuries can happen. Injuries can happen. Injuries will happen. Well, why are you cutting your second team? You know, granted, maybe a third team, whatever though. Veteran linebacker back there, knowing that there's a lot of football left to be played before you get to week 1. Feels like there was some sort of mutual agreement is my guess.
It seems like they're kind of trying to do him a favor. Get him in some camp, get him somewhere where he's not going to be joining right in the beginning of the season and see if he can't catch on with another team, which he did. He gets claimed by the first team on waivers.
Yeah.
I believe this is a trend. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cam Dantzler was cut very early, not even into training camp. They cut Dantzler super early.
It was like a May or something.
I believe they
not his rookie year.
No, like the year that he was cut, third year.
Oh, gotcha. I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
They made that move very early. Caleb Evans, I think, was very early. Like not again. They're making these decisions on these higher, well-regarded at one point draft picks, and they're not even bringing it to cutdown day. And I don't know if it's meant to be a sign of respect, like, hey, let's give them every opportunity because they were our guys and we drafted them and we're amicably parting, or if it's something else, you know.
I think it's that
the amicable part.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to do right, which they have a reputation for doing, and I think that reputation is important to them. But I also just think they're trying to they're not, you know, trading cards. Like Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi and Brian Asamoah were like pals. They had the Ghana connection. Like they liked each other, you know. They're humans too, not just playing cards. And I think Kwesi's just trying to do right by his guy.
That is fair enough. That's definitely the most that's the rosiest way to look at it. And
so I think we all kind of
might be a bad idea if it's
that Ty Chandler gets cut. They're just leaning. We'll see. Nobody's gonna be shocked if he doesn't. But that'll leave just Jalen Naylor, huh? That's it.
I think Xavier Scott needs to do it again at least once. And I'm just predicting that he will. But I think if the decision were made today, it would still be Ty Chandler.
Not enough
work to do for Xavier Scott. I'm just sort of projecting that he will succeed.
Viking Squad Show will be live after Saturday's game against the Patriots. That's a noon kick. Show starts at 3. Braun, Ron, Inman, myself, breaking it all down. Preseason game number 2 on the Viking Squad Show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, commenting, and subscribing. And we will talk to you on Saturday.